Welcome everybody. My name is Tim Sandy. I'm a VMware Systems Engineer. In this session we are going to talk about vRealize Operations 6.0, and we're going to do a brief introduction of it at a 100 sales level and also talk about some of the packaging and licensing that goes along with it as well. So let's get started. First off, I'd like to just mention that we had a rebranding of our operations management and automation products. At VMworld in August of 2014, we announced the vRealize family of products, the rebranding of those names. And many of these management products have been renamed. So, for example, we are talking about vRealize Operations 6.0 today. The predecessor to it was vCenter Operations Management previously. So again, that has been rebranded to the new name of vRealize Operations. Now, you'll also notice that our other management-related products, such as IT Business Management, is now vRealize Business, as well as vCenter, vCloud Automation Center, or VCAC, has been rebranded to vRealize Automation as well. Now, our vCloud Air offering is going to be announcing in the near future several as-a-service type offering. As we start to release those, you're going to see these same on-premise products released as a service on vCloud Air. So you're going to see that the name of those are going to be vRealize Air Operations, Business, and Automation, and just like they are on the on-prem, just that it's going to be vRealize Air. So just so you're familiar with the name changes and you don't get confused between what the old names were and what the new names are. So hopefully that's helpful. So let's talk about what's new in vRealize Operations 6 in comparison to the vCenter Operations 5.x versions. So first off, vCenter Operations 6, we've made a lot of improvements to our analytics. Our analytics are much more intelligent and they're also predictive comparatively to previous versions. Now, we've also tied in our smart alerts in with them to where the smart alerts are not just against a single object or a single symptom. The new smart alerts with our new predictive analytics, they are actually can be based off of multiple objects and multiple symptoms at the same time together as a collection to provide an alert based on a combined issue, not just off a single item. So again, just much more intelligent, and it also gives much more predictive type analytics than we had before. Also, we have a single user interface now that gives us out of the box customizable dashboards, reports, views, and it's against any type of objects and any type of data, whereas before we were a little bit limited on that. We've also enhanced the capacity planning. Those what-if scenarios, previously we were limited in what we could do with those and the number of them as well, and also be able to do those against certain object types. We're now with Operations 6.0, we can implement and put in place several projects against many different object types and data. So again, much more flexibility. It gives us more accurate information so that we can go ahead and plan out our resources for the remainder of the year or even longer than that. So again, just more accurate information that we can provide to management on our capacity planning. And we've also greatly advanced our policy management, and we've also incorporated automation in with that. And an example of what we can do with that is when we get a smart alert along with a recommendation, we can also automate the process to remediate that recommendation, and again, saving that administrator time and effort. So that way, if you have a critical app and it comes up needing additional resources, you can automate the process to where it'll automatically go ahead and provision additional resources for it. We've also given the ability with our policies to provide deeper and more granular user access control, making sure that people have the access that they need, but yet not giving them more than they need as well to help keep your environment secure. One of the big changes that we've done is in the architecture of vCenter Operations, which is now vRealize Operations. Again, we went from a 2 VM appliance type of product previously to now to a single VM. And now we can put that into a cluster and run multiple instances of those, which now creates high availability for us. So now our operations is able to run in a cluster and provide high availability, so that if you are potentially lose one of those nodes, you can still keep up and running at all times. So again, very, very powerful. I've also expanded the platform to where we have much better insight into your SDDC, your software-defined data center, as well as hybrid cloud. And especially with the ability of our management packs that we now have the ability to get data on just about any type of objects and into things such as your networking, your storage. If you're running OpenStack, we can look into that as well. And then, of course, also our vCloud Air instance. So it's not just your vSphere environment anymore. It's not just your hosts. It's not just your VMs. It's also your networking. It's also your storage. It's also your cloud-based environments, all from one single interface, making management very easy. Now, when your partners talk to you about the new vRealize Operations 6, they may be familiar with the old vCenter Operations 5.x versions. So this slide here is just kind of a side-by-side comparison. Even though we've gone over this, I just wanted to touch upon it real quick. So from a scalability aspect, we went from 2 VMs down to a single VM that can be put into a cluster, providing high availability. Before, it was just a scale up, but you couldn't scale out with it. So it was very limited, and you also had to manage them independently. Now, the user interface, we went from 2 user interface, where one of them was for doing those customized dashboards. We now went down to a single interface, again, unified management, and you can see all of your objects in your entire data center and even out into your cloud. The alerting, we went from just basic smart alerts to smart alerts that provide recommendations. And then on top of that, we also provide actionable items. So if a VM needs additional RAM because it's always running high all the time, we can not only give you the alert about it, provide the recommendation to add the additional RAM, but then on top of that, we also give you the ability to take action upon that. And right from Operations Management Interface, we can go ahead and increase the amount of RAM. So that is very powerful. We've also given you the ability to do much more customization with dashboards, reports, and views, where previously you had a lot of fixed dashboards that you couldn't customize, and then the ones that you could, they were limited against what objects and what you could do with them. So again, you can pretty much customize any type of dashboard, alert, or view or report at all. So much more flexible. And finally, those capacity planning capabilities, the what-if scenarios, which are now projects. We are now able to do multiple projects against all sorts of types of objects. So again, giving you a more accurate view from a capacity planning standpoint. The user interface looks similar to the old interface, but there are some subtle changes. As you see here, we still have the major badges of health, risk, and efficiency. However, they no longer have scores in them that were based off the minor badges below them. We strictly go off from the major badge perspective, those are strictly color coded. So those still go off of what happens down below from the smart alerts, but it's based upon how many and also the severity of them, which will in turn change the color of the major badge above. But as you see here, I've pointed to some of these smart alerts, the recommendations for them, and then I've also blown up and clicked into one of those recommendations where it shows you how you can set the memory for a VM, because the recommendation is it needs additional RAM and it's always needing that all the time. It's always running out. So they give you that actionable item off the recommendation to increase the RAM rate from operations management. So that's what I was talking about. Now that we've talked about what it is, what the updates are, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the packaging and licensing. So when you're talking to your partners and they're telling you about what their needs are, you can better fit the appropriate package for them. vRealize Operations 6.0 has 3 editions. It has the Standard, Advanced, and Enterprise. The Standard is going to give you out-of-the-box analytics, policy management, performance and health monitoring. It's also going to give you some capacity modeling and some vSphere hardening, but only again for the vSphere hosts. Now, for those customers that are needing a little bit more to go from standard to advanced, the gains that you're going to get, I've put them into the blue text for you. As you see, you get the customizable dashboards, reports, and views. You get more detailed information on your storage analytics, application discovery and dependencies, OS monitoring for both physical and virtual and various different OSs. But again, that's just the OS level. And then you can again do some capacity modeling, as well as do some vSphere change configuration and regulatory compliance. So now when we go from the advanced to the enterprise, is when you get all of the feature sets. As you see, those changes going from advanced to enterprise are in green. So we get the application middleware and database monitoring. So we've gone not just looking at the different objects and into just the OS, but now we've gone in deeper into the actual application levels. So we get that deeper look into not only your VMs, but the applications running on them as well. And then we also have OS level configuration and regulatory compliance, such as HIPAA compliance, PCI, and SOX. So many healthcare and financial institutions have to comply to these particular regulations. Now, vCenter or vRealize Operations 6 will give them the ability to make sure and configure that all their VMs are following this configuration. If any one of them should fall outside of that preset configuration, outside of that compliance, they'll get notified about it right away to where they can take action against to ensure that they're always in compliance. And then with our reporting, they can also report back to those government agencies that and actually improve that they are compliant at all times. So if you're talking to customers that do have to meet those regulation and compliance standards, the vRealize Operations 6 Enterprise Edition is definitely going to be the one you're going to want to talk to them about. Now, there's two licensing models. The first one is the a la carte, which is per OSI or operating system instance, and again, that is for physical, virtual, and for the different operating systems such as Windows, Unix, and Linux. And those are sold in 25 VM OSI packs. The other option is to do a per CPU, giving you unlimited virtual machines to monitor. And then those are a part of our management packs, so such as vSphere with Operations Management or vSOM, vRealize Operations Insight, vCloud Suite, and vRealize Suite. So the per CPU is going to be a part of those packages. So that completes this session on vRealize Operations 6.0. I hope this information was beneficial to you. And I thank you for joining me today. I look forward to having you on my upcoming sessions. Thank you very much.